Welcome back to Double Down University. I'm back at you guys with just a quick recap of last night's game between the Jaguars and the Jets, and to go over just the results of the picks that I gave out. And just full transparency on the picks that I gave out. So, I had Trevor Lawrence over 14.5 fantasy. He's hit that in, I think, the first half because he had like 40 something rushing yards in the first half, and he also had a rushing touchdown as well. So he hit that in the first half. The Zach Wilson pick, that was a terrible pick on my part because I thought he would be able to, get going. And last week it kind of was false advertisement. He threw for like 300 yards and he had a really good game last week. But this week I don't know. I don't know what happened to him. And clearly the coaches don't believe in him. Like if you look at his numbers last night, he had 9 completions on 18 attempts for 92 yards and an interception. And he was sacked 3 times. Like his pocket awareness was just poor. It was terrible. Like it was times where the pass rush was pushing the pocket in the middle of the pocket. Like the defensive tackles was pushing the pocket. And he would step right into the lap of the defender, which would, go for an easy sack. Or just he wasn't able to escape out the pocket and be able to make the throws that he needed to make. And another thing while watching him is it's just mind blowing to me. It's just like this guy has all the talent in the world, and he can make all the difficult throws, all the tough throws, like the combine throws where you're rolling out and you're throwing the ball 50, 60 yards down the field. He can do all that stuff, but when it comes time for him to do a little simple hit somebody on a slant route, hit somebody on a comeback route, that's coming back to the sticks. It's just everything is just off with his mechanics and just getting the ball out, and that's what kind of cost them yesterday because they were just 3 and out, 3 and out. I wonder how many punts did they have last night because it seemed like they were punting the ball a whole lot. Actually, so they had 5 punts last night. The punter had more punting yards than he had passing yards, so that just tells you right there how bad of a night he was doing. So he eventually, I think he got pulled midway through the third or through the fourth quarter, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. So he had got pulled, I think it was the fourth quarter. This was... Yep, he got pulled in the third quarter, like 3 minutes left, I want to say. Yep, he got pulled in the third quarter. Actually, when was his last pass? His last pass was at the 5 minute mark of the third quarter. So he got pulled right at around the 5 minute mark of the third quarter. And as you can see, like it was 3rd and 25, and he throws a short pass to Davis for only 8 yards, and he had to punt the ball again, and turned out to be 4th and 17. But his offensive line wasn't doing him no justice, and I kind of feel bad for quarterbacks like this that have talent, arm talent, but it's just not in a good system. And it's just like they have no support around him. He doesn't have an offensive line that he can depend on. He has weapons on the outside. Don't get me wrong. He has weapons. He has Elijah Moore. He has Garrett Wilson, who's had a phenomenal year, as well as he has a couple solid tight ends with Uzama and what's the other tight end they have? Conklin. So he has talent around him, but it's just the offensive line is just terrible. A bunch of just cast-offs instead of them just building through the front and building out with weapons. Like that's why I understand why teams they pick a wide receiver over offensive lineman in the draft. When the wide receiver, like if you're not getting time in the pocket, you're not gonna be able to throw the ball to the wide receiver. So that's just my take on Zach Wilson. But at this point, I think he's really considered just filling out the application to hand out stickers at Walmart because I think his Jets career is pretty much over, and I don't know if another team will kind of touch him like they would Sam Darnold and kind of see if they can try to revitalize his career because he has the talent, but it's just if he can just get the little things right, the little slant routes, the stuff that Mike White does well, his backup, just the stuff that he does with his eyes closed, that he doesn't have the physical talent to do the things that Zach Wilson does, but just the simple stuff that he does, and that's why they're so much more efficient when he's in the game as opposed to when Wilson's in the game. But moving on, we had Christian Kirk. So Christian Kirk, we had his receptions at 4. It was a push at 4. So the game script worked in our favor. We actually seen the volume. The volume was there. He just finished, I think, one short. And it was a play, I think, late in the third quarter when they were driving down the field. And it was probably like 2nd and 14 or it was 2nd and long. But they had, Trevor Lawrence had threw the ball to him, and he had dropped the ball. And it was just like an easy completion that could kind of shorten the sticks up a little bit where it'd be 3rd and short. And he just clearly just dropped the ball. But, like, you know, the research and everything was on point. Like, the volume was there for him, as you can see. Like, he had 6 targets and he only had 3 catches. So if he would just had 2 more catches or be, you know, 4 out of those 6 targets were catches, then we would at least walked away with at least a push. So it just, you know, the production just wasn't there. So can't be mad at that, you know. Long as we do the research, and that's all we really can do is just to do the research and, you know, and figure out matchups and things of that nature. And as you can see, like I was saying about Zay Jones, I felt like Sauce Gardner was going to kind of take him away and take him out of the offense, and he did that. He had 1 catch for 14 yards and had 4 targets. So, you know, that was correct on that part too as well. And moving on to Wilson, it's kind of hard for him to get going when you have a quarterback like Zach Wilson who only has 92 yards in the whole game, and you need him to be able to be productive as a receiver. But look at his targets. His targets was 9. So his volume was there. Again, another player whose volume was there, but he just didn't get it done. And he had 4 catches for 30 yards. So he finished like, was it 26 yards short? I think his line was 55.5. So he finished about 26 yards short. But once again, we can't do anything about, you know, production. All we can worry about was the volume there. So the volume was there on that as well. Moving on to the next one that we had C.J. Mosley over 8 tackles, and he ended up with 12. But the key to these tackle props that I've come to be aware of too is that if the team that you're going up against, if they're on the field more times than your team that you picked, like the team for the tackle. So like prime example, like Mosley. So the Jets weren't on the field much last night because of Zach Wilson's inefficiency to be able to keep, you know, converting 3rd downs and everything. So the Jets defense in turn was on the field more than their offense, so that gave him way more opportunities to be able to get tackles, and he's kind of like that. Like I said, he was the linchpin of their defense, so he kind of helped them get you know, everything going, and he was their leader. He got 12 tackles, so that's one thing you have to pay attention to. And like the time of possession wasn't too far off. Like if we go back and look at like the team stats, like so the Jets had the ball for 25 minutes and the Jaguars had the ball for 34 minutes. They were just more productive with their minutes. Like you can see, they had 19 first downs. The Jets had 10 first downs. And then passing first downs, they had 8. Rushing first downs, the Jaguars had 9. Passing first downs, they had 10 for the Jaguars. They only had 1 penalty, which is amazing. I thought it was way more than that. But so 1 penalty for the Jets. And 3rd down efficiency was the deal breaker because the Jaguars were 7 for 16 and the Jets were 2 for 13. So yeah, so those were the picks, and then I think I had one more. The last one I'm trying to remember. Which one was it? What was it? It was Kirk, Wilson. So yeah, so it was Wilson, Kirk, and the other Wilson. Okay. So yeah, so those were the picks. Everything else pretty much cash, but like I said, we can't do anything about production. But the biggest thing, man, is just stay consistent, man, with your unit sizes. Don't overdo it and put more than you normally would put on just like a parlay piece or a card, because the more you stay consistent, the more you can see profit. Because if you're varying your unit sizes and stuff, you're gonna either be down more or you're gonna be up just a little bit more than what you thought you were getting as far as return on your investment. So, but this is not a get quick rich scheme. Like, this is consistency, discipline, like with your bankroll management. You're not going to win every single matchup. You're not going to win every single day, but it's just the thing I love about it is just giving you guys just the research and the why behind, why I chose what I chose, and just, I just want to be transparent with you guys, because if I win and you guys tell, we all win together, so, and vice versa. So that's just the research side of it, and that's just the thing. That's why I love it so much, is because of the research behind it, and just trying to find advantages, trying to find edges in different matchups and different games. But stay tuned, guys. I'll be back with more for tomorrow's matchups, because I know there's a bunch of games going on tomorrow, which is crazy because it's Christmas Eve. So I will be back with you guys. But another thing I've also noted in the video yesterday, and then I seen again today and last night's results, is that I'm gonna start doing 4 picks for you guys instead of just 5 or 6 picks. Just give you guys 4 that I'm really confident in and that I really feel strongly about. Then to give like a couple fringe plays. Like yesterday, the fringe plays for me was Zach Wilson and the other Wilson receiving yards. Garrett Wilson. So, but I felt like they were solid enough to play, especially given like if they were productive, they should have been able to get it. And then one more thing that I noticed too was everybody was complaining about the weather, and all the lines on PrizePicks throughout, like on all the different props, were kind of had the line just slightly lowered because of the weather, and they thought like it was going to be really bad. It was going to be pouring down, raining, and they weren't going to be able to do much. But it turned out to be, it was clear in most of the game. Like it didn't rain, I think, until like the end of the game, like the 2-minute mark of the game. That's when the rain started to really come down. So it was a solid game as far as passing wise, which I felt like if it wasn't another quarterback of a better caliber, he would have been able to get it done. Besides Zach Wilson, like if Mike White would have played, I feel like a lot of those props would have came in on the Jet side, and they would have been a little bit more balanced and be more of a competitive game. So a lot of those things we can't foresee. I wish I could see into the future and be able to predict things and be able to get it right all the time, but it's just not how life works. But I'm gonna keep pushing picks out to you guys, and hopefully you guys be able to stay tuned and be able to watch the content that I'm getting ready to post within the next day or two. So I will be having more NFL content, so just be on the lookout for that. I appreciate you guys. If you're new, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys tonight. I'll be making a video for tomorrow's slate. So appreciate you guys. See you.